Hello everyone. Today we have with us Surajati. He was my teammate for ICM ICPC from college. He's actually a junior of mine, and after ICPC, we started the coding club together. He and Sastik were really helpful in the initial stages for starting the coding club, and later on we had some amazing team that we kept adding on. And today he's here with us to share his interview experience at Justpay. So, Suru, would you like to start with your introduction?
Sure, sure. So, hi guys, I'm Subru. I'm currently an SD at Amagi Media Labs. Uh, Shashank has been my senior from the first year. He had been guiding through all the college activities, the competitions everywhere. So, yeah, one of the most helpful seniors. So, yeah, regarding JustPay, uh, I one fine day I received online link that the test was held in Hacker Earth. I was needed to complete the online test in within 3 days. So I started in the second day night, and so I have been given three questions and about 2.5 hours to solve the test. The question was about medium level competitive programming questions. Like if you can do Code Forces C, then you will be easily ace through the test itself. So it was kind of easy itself. And one was on graph, and one was on trees, and another one simple array binary search. As far as I remember. Uh, and so I completed the test. One takeaway from the test was like on the graph question, my all my test cases wasn't passing. Although I was confident on my solution. Later, I came to know that the test cases were wrong itself. So one takeaway from that, even if you are confident about your solution and the test cases doesn't pass, then might be the test cases might be wrong in some cases. Okay, so that's one
Yeah,
takeaway.
so these are some learnings we only get through experience because even in the initial few tests that we gave, we thought, okay, how could test cases be wrong? Something mistake in my side. But yeah, it is possible in rare such circumstances. The test case may be wrong or the question may be very vague. So even if partially we are done, we should move on.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that is one takeaway. And other than that, so after that, I got a call about interview 3 days later. So the first interview was like obviously face to face. It was from a senior engineer that has been working about 5 years in JustPay. The questions were pretty simple.
Yeah,
One
that was
thing,
a virtual, right? Not a,
yeah,
yeah,
that was
yeah,
virtual, yeah,
yeah.
online face to face. So yeah, so regarding the questions were pretty simple. It was not based on any competitive programming thing. It was just simple DSA. Like after the online round, competitive programming doesn't appear in any scenario. It is just simple DSA. So the first question was a general tree traversal problem. It was pretty easy to solve, and I didn't need to compile anything or as such. I was just writing the code in some docs, and the logic was the main part. Nothing of that compiling the whole code. And so the second question that he has asked me was it was a common question, next greater element, okay, that people usually solve it using stack. But he told me that not to use stack because often people what they do, they memorize those common questions, and it doesn't show whether they can really do it or not using their logic. So I have been told not to use stack, so I did it using recursion because recursion is stack itself. So I did
Yeah.
it with recursion, and the logic was well and fine. I just written the pseudocode and it was done. After that, I was given a logic based question. You know, those problems that they might ask, like there is some matchstick and you need to move matchstick so that it becomes this, some logic based question. So yeah, that was unexpected, but yeah, after a bit of discussion, I was able to solve it. It was just giving a logical approach to the solution, nothing like that. Other than that, so yeah, this was my first F2F interview. After that, next day, the HR called and told me, so the next step would be a hackathon. So the hackathon would start from 10 a.m. and go up till 6 to 7 p.m. Yeah. So I didn't have any idea about what kind of hackathon and what would it be based on. I was not given any information. So the next day, it started. So I was given basically a problem statement. I was shared. I was added first in a Slack group channel where many other interviewees, like many other candidates like me, were there, and even some mentors were there. So I was first given a question. So the question that I thought was basically a tree-based question. Okay, I didn't. There are nothing like constants and stuffs like that. So I thought I assumed some requirements and stuffs and started coding it. Okay, so after 1 hour writing a Sudoku, I contacted the mentor over there assigned to me, and I told him the solution. So I made the solution pretty solid, like use segment trees and stuffs like that. I thought they might be needed, but after talking to him and stuff like that, I realized that I did a mistake on my part. I didn't inquire about the different scenarios, different like requirements and stuffs like that. So the main one thing to be I learned from it is whatever the however vague the problem statement is, don't even think assume any requirement. Always ask the customer. Like in my case, the customer was the mentor, like he needed it. So always ask him like what is the requirement, what would be this requirement, that requirement. So this is even applicable for day-to-day SD software development engineering. Like you need to constantly ask your manager about what would be in this case. You don't need to assume anything. So yeah,
I would like to add to that. Like this is actually one of their expectation. Like how will you clarify the doubts and communicate with the customer or the manager? Because it's not like you need to hesitate. Like, oh, what will they think if I ask silly questions? They want you to ask silly questions, clarify as much as possible. So it's a part of the process, and it has a very good weightage for selection criteria. Yeah.
right. So I didn't know about that, but yeah, I learned at that time, and then I asked him all the requirements that I needed to know. No, and it boiled out. I didn't need any complex data structure like segmented and stuff. I just needed to make a simple tree and do some iteration and stuff. So I learned those and started coding it. And so, yeah, I forgot to tell the hackathon was divided into two parts. One is before lunch and one is post lunch. So, before lunch, you need to complete whatever the requirements, you need to code them, code the requirements. And after lunch, they tell you to modify your code based on some more requirements. Okay. So, previous to lunch, I coded it and I showed him, and he was happy about it. So after the lunch hour, there was a 1 hour gap, and after that, they told me to make the whole solution thread safe. That is, what if multiple threads access that solution? Then how can I make thread safe? So I coded in C++, and I didn't have any experience with multi-threading in C++. So what I did was I told him about it, and he told me to assume simple semaphores and mutex, those stuffs, and write the solutions. And seems like the solution boiled down to simple producer consumer problem. Okay, so I coded it. So the I needed to code in codeshare.io so that he can also visualize the code. And I called him through mobile, and I was explaining him the code through codeshare.io. And at the end of the day, it took about 7 p.m. and I was able to convince him that the solution works. Okay, yeah. So that went my second round. So after the second round, next day the HR called that that round went good enough, and I was scheduled an interview with a data science engineer, senior data science engineer, 2 days after. Okay, so uh, I thought, what should I prepare, since that is a data science guy, and I didn't know what he would ask. So I just started revise the basic computer science no, questions and stuff like that, thus OSDB and stuff. And yeah, so when the guy called, so he told me to turn on the camera. So that's what, if the interviewer tells you to turn on the camera, you turn on the camera, else you just don't. Okay, so yeah, he told me to turn on the camera, and he asked first of all basic fundamental questions about computer science. Okay, and then he told me to he gave me code snippets and told me to do time complexity analysis. Okay, so given a code, I can tell you what's the time complexity, but I didn't practice deriving it through mathematical formulas. Okay, so that was a bit of setback right at the start of the interview. I was struggling to write those mathematical equations so that the time complexity. Even I wrote the wrong answer at the first time. The derivation was wrong. I knew what would be the answer, but I didn't know how to derive it. But after that, he corrected me, and I came to a right derivation of that. After that, he told me about normal trees and stuff like that, difference between binary trees, binary search trees, basic computer science question, DSA question. And after that, he told me about, asked me about different sorting algorithms and advantage and stuff like that. So after that discussing, it boiled down to two main sorting algorithms, quicksort and merge sort. And he asked me where can we use can we use each of them. Okay, so yeah, and after that, after we're done, so we can use each of them. Like merge sort takes more space into consideration, quick sort doesn't take, but quick sort is not perfectly O of n log n at all times. So yeah, those points. And after that, he told me to design a sorting algorithm mixing both of them such that it also supports multi-threading. So this was a completely like new type of question. So he actually wanted to know how would I approach the problem, how would I suggest those stuffs. Okay, so yeah, I could, and the time was also less. I just could tell, okay, this where I can use threads and stuffs like that, and the time was over. I thought that I completely blew the interview out of the window. And
Yeah, like I think this is something that happens in almost every interview. Even if you cross the bar that they're looking for, they still see what is your limit. Like they still see how much harder and harder question, so that they'll see in when you don't know anything, what will be your reaction, whether you'll give up soon or whether you'll struggle. I think that in every interview, this is also tested. So we should not feel like, oh no, this is not going good.
yeah, right. So yeah, that's what I thought. I thought this is done. Okay, the HR isn't going to call anymore. Okay, but 3 days later, the HR called. Okay, that interview went tic tac. Okay, and she told that she would organize a final interview with them, because my previous interviews were good enough. The hackathon round was good, and the first interview was good. So they don't actually eliminate you based on one interview itself. They take into accumulation all the previous interviews you have done. On those point basis, they think whether you should pass for the next interview or not. So the final round was with the manager. So many of others who were interviewing at the same time, many of them got a call from the CEO itself. But at my time, the CEO was, I think, busy. So I was being interviewed with a manager. So he was basically a IIM pass out. And yeah, he first asked me about my uh, whole childhood and the school educations and my background and stuff like that. So he was basically knowing the whole me. And after knowing those, I told him that maths was one of my favorite subject. He gave me some functions question based on function. I solved it in pen and paper, uh, and told him. And after that, sims out, it boiled down to a Fibonacci type series, and he told me to code it. And then I coded it with recursion, so he was quite happy with it. After that, he asked me that problem, egg dropping problem. Okay, this was also another logic based problem. Like uh, a logic based problem, like the minimum number of eggs you need to drop to know the building height. Something, the question was something like that. So it was a logic based question. Again, I didn't prepare for logic based question, but gradually coming to one by one more optimal solution, I came to the most optimal solution. It was a thorough discussion with him. Okay, and so yeah, it was done. It went pretty well. He was happy. And after that, I asked him, like, towards the end of, what is the work that is currently going on, what are the most important, most one of the most interesting topics that you have worked on and stuff like that. So one thing is, for every interview, the last impression lasts longer for the interviewer. Okay, so one of the main thing that I would suggest is, whenever you try to end an interview, never ask about how your interview went and whether you will pass the interview or not, just ask anything about the company. I would suggest do your homework about the company or about the person who is interviewing you, so that you can ask some tech based question related to his job profile. Okay, so after every interview, I made sure that I asked some question about either the product of a company or the type of work he's working on or the tech stack he's working on. I so that it shows that you have interest towards the company. You want to know more about the company. So that's a very positive impact that you are uh, putting on the interviewer about your credibility. So yeah, that thing I did. I always did the homework, like what to ask after the interview. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Right. So, like, I think we can move on with the Q&A session. Like, some of the common questions or doubts that freshers who are interviewing for first time may have, like, how important is the CGPA or the college name? Does it play a heavy role, or it's like whatever you perform then and there in the interview,
Hmm.
that is more important?
Mhm. So regarding CGPA for off-campus, it really matters. Whatever any off-campus I have given, it really mattered anywhere. However, the college name does matter. There are very many companies like they consider only top grade students like IITs and NITs and those stuffs. And but
Mhm.
also there are many companies that test you based on your online like the online round performance and stuffs like that. So yeah, the college name obviously matters, but not everywhere. There are also companies that don't care about the college name at all. Okay,
Yeah,
so
like, do you mean only in the shortlisting, resume shortlisting phase, or even during the interviews or
no, no,
final decisions?
only in the resume shortlist. Once you're
Right.
shortlisted, it's done. In the
Yeah.
interview, it doesn't. No one asks you what
Yeah.
college you are in.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
and yeah, that
Okay.
was.
And one more question is regarding difference between competitive programming and data structure. Like, how much to focus on it in interviews, face-to-face interview? Can we expect questions as difficult as in online round, like CP level, or how is it?
Yeah, so in online round, so see the in the online round, what happens is there are companies who just gives it to the popular coding platforms like Hackera and tells them to shortlist candidates. Okay, so what they do, they give questions from their question set, and those question set are competitive problems itself. Okay, so they give questions from their question set which are based on competitive programming. So to pass the online round, competitive programming is very helpful. But in the interviews, I'd suggest basic DSA knowledge about DSA that are asked in interviews. Those are more important. They rarely ask you competitive programming level questions in interviews. So yeah,
And what's the importance of choice of programming language in the online
yeah.
and face-to-face round?
Choice of programming language, I'll always suggest to go for either C++ or Java, because their runtime is very much faster than any other competitive programming language. However, if the interview is very near and you are working with Python, so I'll suggest go with Python. Don't try to learn C++, Java just for to pass the test. But if you have you are preparing now, you have interviews like 6 months later and stuff like that, then I'll always suggest to go with C++ or Java. However, in face-to-face interviews and stuff like that, they don't. It doesn't matter what language you are working. Your logic matters. That's what.
Okay. So moving on to next question, what do you think will be the approach the student should follow if his interview is in 1 or 2 days?
Yeah. So first of all, when the HR tells you that your interview is set 2 days later, uh, ask her or him like what would be the interview based on. I always used to do that. Even it was through mail, I used to reply what would be the interview based on, so that I can get an idea. So if he or she told that it would be based on DSA, so DSA you can practice in 2 days. I just used to solve few easy questions to boost my confidence and give the interview. But if they told that it was based on core computer science knowledge like OSD, BMS, networking, then I used to have notes of every question, like most popular question. I used to go through them, revise the topics, and within one day I was done. So yeah, that is the strategy I used to follow. And one tip that before interview that you can do is like maybe your interview is scheduled in the evening and this is the afternoon, like you are maybe eating, but you are unable to eat because of your tension. Okay, just think that there is nothing nothing too tense. You are not dying. You're just give the interview, get it done with. Like no need to tense, like not eat anything and stuffs like that. So
Yeah, there will
that
always
thing,
be so many opportunities, and either way,
right?
it will be a good experience.
Exactly. So not to
Mm.
think. I used to do that. I used to skip eating and stuffs like that out of tension. But now I'm cool with it.
So, what do you suggest for people during the interview? What should be their mindset? Like, is it necessary? It has to be a flawless interview, or is it okay if any
Uh,
small glitches?
Regarding it, so as I told, right, when the interviewers are the data science guy, it I just thought that interview went out of the window, but it doesn't necessarily need to be flawless. Like you need to give your 100%. Okay, it might be a case like the interview is instinctively giving you hard question within small time limit just to test whether at least you are starting to think that way or you are panicking, just to test that, just to test that they might give very hard question and stuffs like that. So
Mm.
no need to be flawless. You just give your 100% and whatever you can. Okay, and after
Mm.
that, let the interviewers decide. Most of the times, if they when you feel that okay, it was very hard, how can I even do that? Just don't think about that. The interviewers instinctively giving you harder questions just
Okay.
to test whether you can handle. So yeah, that is one thing.
Okay. So we have covered before and during interview. What do you suggest for after interview? What are some things that you
Uh,
can do?
Post interview. So basically, an interview is always a win-win situation. I'll explain how. So whenever you give an interview, you either pass. If you pass, it's a win. If you fail due to some points that you haven't prepared for it before. Okay. So the most important thing would be when you fail an interview, when the HR it tells you have failed the interview or something like that, do ask her what are the points where you have failed. Okay, so that you can work up upon that, so that on on those same points you don't fail the next interview. So if you prepare, if you know the points that you are lacking and you prepare for those points, it is again a win. You will not repeat the same mistake again for the same interview. So that
Mm.
this is the thing I strictly followed. Whenever I fail the interview, first thing I ask them what are the points that I failed, what did the interview tell about me, interviewer. Okay, and then I worked on them. And suppose it was about my project, maybe, or something like that. I made a new project related to that, or maybe known clearly about my previous project that I failed. So always work on that failure. Then
Yeah.
only succeed for the future interviews.
So yeah, usually HRs will be willing to give the feedback, but if that is not possible, then we should have to self retrospect and see
Exactly.
what might have gone wrong and what should we work
Hmm.
upon.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That,
that's
yeah,
really good
that we should
advice.
do. Yeah.
So finally, do you have any pro tips that you want to share?
Yeah. Uh, Pro tip, if you say, okay, always remember it is 70% luck, 70% hard work and 30% luck. Okay, sometimes the question can be very hard. Okay, it might not click at that moment. Maybe you didn't have breakfast in the morning, your mindset is not working clearly, or maybe you are stressed the previous night and your mindset is not, the question is just not clicking. But after the interview, when you become a bit chill, when you're a bit lesser stressed out, less stress, then you feel okay, it was this solution. So it is always 30% luck. Okay, so sometimes this luck may not hit off. Okay, it has happened to be multiple times. Even I had all the credibility, I wasn't able to uh, ace through the interview because of the luck. So if there is it is your it is not your day, it is bad luck, then just okay, it is not my day, next time I'll ace for sure. So
Yeah.
the luck cannot be 100% going like opposite of you. There must be one day that the luck should be favoring. Just keep your calm. There's like,
Okay.
if you aren't able to solve a question, like, don't blame yourself. Okay, you are not able to solve or stuff. It might be like it wasn't your day. Okay, so this is one pro tip I like to give to all.
Yeah, so like there is no shortage of opportunities. Like there are so many
Yeah,
good companies and so many opportunities out there. Like you can keep trying, and one day luck will meet with your hard work, and that's when we get the
exactly,
right opportunities. Yeah,
exactly.
so that was really
So,
helpful.
hmm.
Yeah, anything else you want to end with, Suro?
No,
Uh,
I think that's all. Just work hard and enjoy the process. Obviously, like don't like okay, I'll work hard now. I'll enjoy it. Enjoy the process. Enjoy through the process. Make new
yeah,
connections. Meet with new people, and that's all it matters.
yeah. So like these preparation journey turns out to be one of the most memorable ones actually.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So
you will one day you will visit your memory lane. Okay, I did that. I did those, and you'll just
yeah.
feel awesome. And even you will relate to other people. Okay, yeah, they also did it. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's quite
and
good.
as long as we like keep trying, like there's we can say like for definitely we'll reach there. Like it's a matter of like
Obviously,
never giving up and just keep trying. Yeah,
obviously, you should always keep trying. Why should we
yeah,
just give up? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
so I think we can wind up the session now. Thank you, Suro,
Uh-huh.
for being with us,
Sure,
and
sure.
we're looking forward to have you further for more interview experiences from your side on Abagi and others. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, thank
Sure.
you.
It was a nice opportunity. Yeah, thanks. I'll catch up again later.
Bye.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Bye.